I bought my first house when I was 24 years old. And many people probably think, oh, his parents gave him a lot of money to do so, or he landed in a career where he made a ton of money starting out, or maybe even, hey, he got lucky and he bought a house when the time was right and the housing market was better for buyers. Prices were lower and interest rates were lower. But the fact is, none of that is true. My parents didn't give me any money to buy a house. They did let me stay with them until I moved out and bought my own house. I didn't have a career where I was making a ton of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I bought at one of the worst times. I bought a house back in 2024. Interest rates were high, housing prices were high, and nothing was in my favor. But in this video, I want to share with you the one decision I made that you can make today that can change your life just a few years from now. Whether you're a teenager, recently graduated from college, early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, no matter where you're at, if you feel like home ownership is impossible, this video I hope will change your perspective on saving and home ownership, because you too can do it just like I did. Now, before I jump into my story and the lessons I learned along the way, I do want to share some of the biggest mistakes that young people make when it comes to home ownership and saving. And that is, they are going to figure it out later, or they have later to figure it out. And that may not be the case. A lot of times we find ourselves trying to know it all before we do something, or we mistake procrastination with progress or preparation. And the fact is, we can stall out when we're trying to find another video that will teach us something, or continue to look at ways to save, and looking at videos like this. You can sometimes stall yourself out and never actually take that next step to progress. So for me, I didn't know it all when I bought the house. I didn't know how much time would be invested into it. I didn't really know how much I even wanted to save at the time to buy the house. I had an idea, but I didn't know. I just knew I wanted home ownership one day, and I wanted to get started right away to progress in that. So let me tell you a little bit about my story. When I was 17 years old, I decided to quit running track in high school and start working at Jersey Mike's. And if you've watched any videos on this channel, I've talked about this a little bit, but I worked at Jersey Mike's all day, every day. I was able to learn the basics of saving at Jersey Mike's. I didn't make a lot of money. I think I made about $10 an hour at the time. And I worked at Jersey Mike's all the way up until my sophomore year in college. And then I became a tutor, and I also started working for a company called Fast and All, where then I was making around like $12 an hour. But in those moments, or in those jobs, I learned true fundamentals around saving and what worked for me. At the time, again, my goal wasn't to buy a house. Really, my goal in those two jobs, or those three jobs, were to pay for college, to come out of college debt free. So getting started early was really important to me, and I learned it at an early age. I made mistakes. I increased my lifestyle a little bit in terms of lifestyle inflation and my cost of living. I made purchases. I also, didn't have the best saving habits, and that was okay. I was still doing it. Also, one thing I can say, every paycheck that I made had purpose behind it. Some portion of it went to savings, whether it was $1 or $100. There was going to be some part of that check that went towards savings. So eventually I graduated from college, and home ownership really became a focus of mine at that time. Hey, if I can get a good career, a steady paying job, $50K at the time was what I was targeting a year, then I could start to put aside some money. So as I mentioned earlier in this video, I graduated, moved back home with my parents, and I got a job in tech sales. Pretty much, I'll simplify it with that and just say tech sales, or really it was recruiting at the time. And in that job, again, everything was intentional. Every paycheck I made, I was intentional about saving as much as I could. And realistically, I'm not asking you to save a specific amount of money. If you do want to learn how to save a specific amount of money, I have a video around how I'm going to be saving up to $10,000 this year, between now and the end of this year. So check that out on the channel. But at that time, I didn't have a goal in mind. I just knew I wanted to save as much as I can, so when the time came, I could buy a car and a house. Those were the two things that I had my eyes on. And I say all that to say those small deposits that I did over time became something that I could actually use when the opportunity came. So now let's talk about the lessons I learned along the way and that one decision you can make today that can change your future a few years from now. So that first lesson, and this is the one thing I did, and it's very simple, is just start. You may never feel ready, so waiting until you feel ready is not the answer. I started not knowing where my goal would end up or what would happen, but the fact is I started, and progress begins to create momentum. And once momentum starts, there's no stopping it. So just start. Now, my second tip is to save for freedom and not just for a house. Obviously, this video is for those who want to save for a house, and I hope and pray you do get that and that this video helps you in some way. But the fact is, freedom will allow you way more options when it comes to the choices that you'll have in life. If you save enough, you can make decisions that are not based on finances or based on money or based on what you have to have because you don't have money. Freedom gives you flexibility. It gives you confidence. It gives you options. It gives you motivation. Freedom gives you so much that when you don't have it and you're strapped for cash, you lose that sense of freedom. You lose that flexibility. You lose that confidence. Hey, I can't do this because I gotta work and I gotta make this type of money to fit my lifestyle. And we don't want that for you here on this channel. I don't want that for you. Now, my third tip, because once you start saving and you see that money start to grow over time, do not, I repeat, do not let lifestyle inflation creep in. It's a very subtle and easy thing to do is to increase your lifestyle or have lifestyle inflation creep in and start to spend money where you shouldn't be just because you can. I will admit I have gone out to eat way too much just because I can. I bought a brand new car and I shouldn't have. I should have bought a used car. That's money that is now gone. Hopefully that car lasts me a long time, but I let lifestyle inflation creep in. And I don't want the same for you, because it is very easy to let our friends, our family, social media, celebrities, and other outside influences or influencers impact our decision making. And I don't want that for you. Live the life that you're comfortable living, but also do not overdo it when you start to make or save a little bit of money. Now, the last tip I want to give you is kind of motivational to me, but it is extremely important. And that is, consistency beats intensity. Do not feel like you need to rush into this. Do not feel like if you're not at a certain savings number, or if you don't have your house 6 months from now or a year from now or 2 years from now, that you lost. Showing up every day is the battle. And if you do so, I promise you will get there, but you have to remain consistent. That was the key. That is the key to my success and to my home buying. I was consistent, whether I knew it or not. From day one, the first time I walked into that Jersey Mike's and I showed up, that first paycheck, I was consistent. Then I saved then to my very last paycheck that I just got. I'm still saving money, and I will always save money because it's in me. Consistency will become you if you do so. So keep that in the back of your mind always. Now, I want to shift gears a little bit. I want to ask you something. What is that one thing you're saving for? Most of you, it's probably a house. That's why you clicked on the video. But maybe for some, it might be, hey, I want to invest more, or hey, I want to buy a car. I want to learn how to save a little bit. What is one thing you can do this week to get you one step closer? Not this month, not this year. What is one thing you can do right now this week to get you closer to buying that house, or to investing more, or to saving more, or to buying a car, or to whatever your goal is? For me, mine is to set a routine to review my finances and create a budget for me and my wife. I had a budget for myself, but I recently got married, and now that budget is a little bit different. So I need to create a budget, and that is one thing I am going to do this week. What is that one thing that you can do to get you one step closer? Now that you've thought about that, I want you to comment, what is that one thing you're going to do? We're going to grow together on this channel. That is the goal of this channel. And my mistakes, I'm going to share with you along the way so you don't make those same mistakes. And hopefully any tips and tricks and advice that I can share I will, and hopefully you can hear it and apply it to your circumstances. Speaking of that, many people often ask a question of, hey, if you could do anything different, what would you tell your younger self? I get that all the time in my career, and I hear a lot of people ask that question. And for me, I typically don't like to think about, hey, I would have done this differently or that differently, because I do feel like it was all designed, or my life has been a purposeful and purpose-driven life, and everything I did for a reason. However, the only thing that I could think of is to start sooner. I'm not saying you got to start at age 14 or 15 or 20. Just start as soon as you can. And if as soon as you can is right now, then that is what it is. Start right now. But my one, not even regret, but one thing I would have done was started sooner. I would have started working maybe a little bit earlier, or saving money before I got a job. And that would have helped me along the way. However, I don't harp on that. I think about it from time to time, but I move forward. I control what I can control. And that's what I want you to get from this video. Just start. Whether it's $100, $50, a $20 bill, $1, just start. No matter the amount, just start saving. And every check, if you got to pull $5 out of your check and put it into a savings account, do that, because you're starting, and consistency is key. Once you start, there's nothing and no one that can stop you. And then once you start, continue to make smart decisions. And remember that those small decisions add up. It's not going to be one large decision that changes your life. It's going to be hundreds of small ones. That's why we call the channel Brick by Brick, because you don't build a house with one large brick at a time. You build it through multiple small little pieces and components that build up over time. Now, again, if this video helped you in any way, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. The goal is to continue to share advice that I've learned along the way to young individuals that may be going down the same path that I did, and hopefully teach them what wasn't taught to me that I had to learn on my own, and give them the leg up, because it's about paying it forward. And the goal is hopefully you make better decisions about your money and about your career and about your life, one brick at a time. So I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.